All right, so I'm on my 45-minute drive to one of our Airbnbs, and there was a thought that hit me, something, and it just blew my mind, and is definitely something that I know is worth sharing with you. Just yesterday, I was working with my son, who plays on a basketball team. He's 10 years old, and this is his second organized basketball team, but this time he's really into it, and he wants to do well. And one of the things that I noticed was that he was having trouble getting past defenders with the ball, with possession of the ball. Other players would steal the ball from him, and he would grow frustrated with that. And me, as his father who loves him very much, as a teacher as well, I decided, okay, we're gonna figure this thing out. I didn't play basketball growing up, but hey, we got YouTube, right? So I looked on YouTube, looked for some dribbling skills that I could do with him, found a lot of them. So what I did, we started working on those drills yesterday, and they were fine. But most of those drills that we started out with were with one basketball, and he was really into it. Then we turned it up a notch towards the end because I gave him two basketballs, and he had to dribble both basketballs in unison as he snaked his way through these cones. And it was very challenging for him. He grew frustrated with that drill. And I'm glad that before I even started that, I said to myself, okay, we don't want to frustrate. We just want to have a little fun. We want to learn and challenge as well. So the drills were only 1 minute. Okay. So he knew that he was going to have to do this frustrating thing for only 1 minute, dribbling two balls through these cones. So he made the comment to me at the end that he didn't like the dribbling the two balls because, well, I'm not going to be dribbling two balls in the game. And so I wanted to end the session on a positive note. I didn't like the attitude, but I didn't want the session to end on a negative note. You know, myself as a father, as a parent, we are teachers as well. And so we have to be the architect of our environment. So I had to share with him the why. Okay, son, you didn't like that? Jumped on YouTube and pulled up Steph Curry. He was a video of him working out before the game with two balls. And he was doing these different drills. And so when I showed that to my son, he kind of nodded his head, and he understood it. And, you know, it's okay to be frustrated. Try something challenging. I told him that. But I think ultimately the session ended on a positive note, because definitely this is not something I'm pushing him to do. I expect my son to do whatever he wants to do in life as long as it makes him happy. So that happened yesterday. Then this morning, I was not feeling very well, and I just did not want to get up out of bed, not feeling well at all. And like, I had the chills, wasn't feeling good at all. But I knew that I had to get down to our Airbnb because we had some damage to our gazebo because we had a lot of snow. So I have to get in there and clean out some of that before the next guest arrives tomorrow. So it's no time to not be feeling well. But as I was in bed, I was thinking about that interaction with my son yesterday, about that last drill and dribbling the two balls. And this is what came to me. If you can dribble two balls well, you can dribble one basketball very well. Like that blew my mind, and I can't wait to share it with him. And he's 10 years old. I'm his dad, so he probably won't do cartwheels and a backflip like I wanted to when that thought hit me. But just if you can dribble 2 balls well, you can dribble 1 ball very well. Like that's gold. That is gold. And if I was still in the classroom, I definitely would share that with my students to help them to understand that, you know what, there are going to be things as you chase your vision of success, there are going to be things that you don't necessarily like doing. Perhaps you don't like social studies. Perhaps you don't like math. There's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. It frustrates you. That's okay. But it's in the way that you acquire the skills in those subjects. That's the benefit. That's what's going to help students get better. That's what's going to help students accomplish goals long after they've left your classroom. I tell students this. I tell students the reason that you go to school is to learn how to set and accomplish goals and deal with resistance along the way. The purpose of school is to learn how to set and accomplish goals and deal with resistance along the way. There's going to be resistance in math. That was a class for me. I did not like math. There's definitely a lot of resistance, but I had goals. I wanted to get at least a 3.5 GPA. If I'm going to do that, I've got to write down these action steps. I've got to do these things. I've got to get my feedback. I've got to learn and grow along the way and manage this resistance, learn from feedback so that I can hit the mark. And it's that practice and doing that in school that's going to prepare students for when they're not in school. That's going to prepare them for success in the, as we say, real world. So, yeah, I wanted to share that with you. And I'm still thinking about it, and I'm excited to share that with my son. And I encourage you to meditate on that and think about how you can use that yourself to help motivate students when it seems like their mind is fixed. Just little things like that can be a spark that your students need to think differently, to reset their mind the proper way. Because setting your mind, it's a daily process, and that's why I talked about in the last episode of my podcast. I talked about building and maintaining a productive classroom environment, because when you have a productive classroom environment, that speaks for itself. When the environment is conducive to nothing but growth mindset, then that's less resistance that you're going to have. For example, if you really hit the language that students use. Oh, I can't do this. I hate this. No. We don't say that in this class. And then once you're consistent with that, then once students start to get that thought in their mind and they start to speak that negativity and doubt, they'll correct themselves and remember, it's like, oh, that's right. Mr. Bird's classroom, we don't say I can't. That's where you want to be. So that's all I have right now. That's what I wanted to share with you. So yeah, so I guess the question that we'll end on is I want to hear from you. Like, what are some just quick hitters, some one-liners like the one that I just shared with you about dribbling basketballs? What are some things that you say to your students to help them reset their mind, to help them get out of that fixed mindset, to help them look towards growth? What are some things that you say to students to motivate them and get them engaged and get them moving? Please, if you would, share with the community. What are some things that you say? Leave a comment. And I'm definitely going to be looking at those, because I want to learn from you as well. So let's all learn from each other. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch. And as always, don't forget, teachers are leaders.